Good evening. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Eric, for your leadership of the foundation and for inviting me tonight. Thank you, Dick Ober, for your leadership as well, and the entire New Hampshire Charitable Foundation and all of you. Christopher, that was indeed a terrific performance. I have had the privilege now to hear you at a number of events, and you get better and better. Thank you very, very much. We are joined here tonight by Mayor Gatsis, who I think you'll hear from in a few minutes. Mr. Mayor, thank you for hosting this in Manchester and for everything you do for your city. I'm about to do something that is a little dangerous, which is to recognize some elected officials who I believe were planning to be here, and I hope they are. Senator Jeannie Forrester, Senator Fuller Clark, Senator Peggy Gilmore, Senator Betty Lasky are all due to be here, and I just want to recognize them for their leadership and hard work in the New Hampshire State Senate, so thank you. I know we are also joined by other elected officials, member of the legislature, I am sure, members of select boards and aldermen and planning commissions, and I actually have a feeling there might be a quorum of several in this audience. I want to thank each and every one of you for everything you do to make our state and our communities as strong and vibrant as they are. I know that the work is hard. I know it doesn't earn you a lot of money, but I know that it really is essential to who we are as a state, and so I am very grateful for it. And we are joined here too by the leader of the community college system, our Chancellor Ross Gattell, and President Huddleston from UNH, and thank you for everything you do for our state as well. And to all members of the New Hampshire charitable community, to the Charitable Foundation donors and supporters, and all our other distinguished guests, thank you so much for being here tonight, for taking time in what I know are very busy lives to recommit yourself, your organizations, and really the state to the work we need to do together. The title for tonight's program, or the question that we're asking in this meeting, how are the children, is such an appropriate and critical one. It is common for us to say children are our future, and of course they are. And we say that as a shorthand way, I think, of acknowledging that we want to invest in our children because we know that we want their future to be bright. We want them to have brighter futures than we have. And because we also know that when they are doing well, it means we are planning well for our future. And when we are planning well, generally we're going to do well. So we have made some progress when we ask the question, how are our children? From a kind of priorities and programmatic view, I can go down a list for you that I think has helped from the state government perspective make us feel we're making progress. We have managed in this last couple of years to restore critical funding to our higher education system, and that's been greeted well and appropriately by a tuition freeze at the university system and a tuition reduction at the community college system. That's very good news for our young people and our children as they prepare for our futures, for their futures. We have invested time and effort in bringing people together to look at what kind of education we're helping our young people get, especially in the STEM field. So we have a STEM education task force. We have made school safety improvements. We have invested in a Media Power Youth program that's a partnership between the state and many of you here to prevent youth violence. We have restored our Children in Need of Services program. We have passed a bipartisan bill that establishes healthcare expansion for 50,000 hardworking Granite Staters, a really important step forward. And those are all really good pieces of progress. I'm proud of them. I know that the people who have worked with all of us to make them happen are proud of them too. And I know that they will improve the lives and future of our children. But I think the question tonight goes beyond that. How do we incentivize people to act, to invest more in our children and understand the investment and the benefit from that investment for what it is? How do we change the way people think about success? It's important to have a balanced budget, but what is that budget investing in? And what kind of return will we get on those investments? I commend all of you to a writer and thinker and researcher at the Wharton School, a man named Adam Grant, who has just done some interesting research, and I'm cribbing heavily here from a talk my husband gave a few days ago, so excuse me for that. But Adam Grant has done work categorizing people into three categories: givers, takers, and matchers. And what his research shows is that while many of us tend to think that we have to succeed first and then give back, that many of our most successful people and leaders are people who give first, and they find success as they give, because other people, of course, want them to be successful too. They strengthen everybody around them, and they find, as a result, that they all get stronger. We have seen evidence of that all around the state. I have a feeling that many of you see that in the work that you do. But as we think about how our children are and as we worry about whether we can reach all our children, I want to let you know that the giving and creativity and the insistence on progress has been really showing results in the Granite State. 3 vignettes for you to think about when we ask how are the children and can we reach all of them and can we help all of them. The graduation of 35 young people of the North Country Charter Academy just a couple of weeks ago. The North Country Charter Academy is supported by 10 school districts in our North Country, representing 4,000 square miles. At the graduation of 35 young people who had left high school or thought they would never graduate high school for a variety of reasons, a number of them spoke to a group of about 400 people at the Mount Washington. One young man got up and said he had bipolar disorder and a speech impediment. He had been told he would never be able to do anything but be on welfare. And there he was, giving an excellent speech at his high school graduation with plans for his future. Another young woman talked about what it had been like for her to grow up gay in Littleton, New Hampshire, and being referred to by her peers as it. And she spoke incredibly movingly and then talked about how she had been resilient and found her way through this alternative high school program. So she too was graduating with a plan for the future. Or think about going up to Milan Village Elementary School, which is a small school with relatively few resources, but one where every child in kindergarten through 6th grade is using handheld technology and doing everything from editing stories at the kindergarten level to having a discussion of the economy at the 4th grade level. The question, by the way, that the kids raised is, if everybody saves their money and doesn't spend, will there be an economy? Good discussion for 4th graders, do you think? And the 6th graders were assessing the cost-benefit analysis of the school, putting solar panels on the building, and they were going to recommend it to the school board. Or think about the Beach Street School here in Manchester, where I watched talented teachers and young people of several different languages from several different countries work together to work on their vocabulary and writing skills. Kids supporting each other in all of those venues by example. So we live in a democracy where everybody counts. That's what investing in our children is really about. That's what finding our way forward through a charter academy or a small school in the North Country or at Beach Street here is all about. We know that the American mission insists that at every generation we become more just by including more people, not just including them because we are kind, which is charitable, but also because we are just, which recognizes that we cannot be a democracy where everyone counts if we don't ensure freedom and fairness. I think a lot about the difference between charity and justice because I was raised by a political scientist who always kept asking me the question, and I'm not sure I always knew how to answer it. I know that we cannot be successful without justice, and we have to insist sometimes on justice, which is hard because it means you share power. I also know that our justice system and our democracy cannot be successful without charity, because charity helps us invest in ways, recognizing that equality is not sameness, and we have to be able to invest in order to lift all of us up so that justice can be successful. In New Hampshire, we have found a way for government and the charitable community to work together, and this is not typical. And it is one of the things that gives me such great hope and optimism about our future as a state. We know that we have been able to come together in public-private partnerships to make sure that we are investing in our young people and in our future, making sure that while a just system may be in place, that it has the resources it needs to in fact enable every person and to lift them up. This foundation has been a phenomenal partner for the state, and I have been so buoyed and so encouraged by the help and the interaction and partnership we have had together, whether it's working with Tim Rourke on substance use prevention through the Governor's Commission on Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention, Treatment, and Recovery, whether it's working with all of you to reduce substance use, especially among our youth, whether it is supporting early childhood development in the North Country or working with City Year here in Manchester or supporting the New Hampshire Food Bank. You all have been incredible partners and an incredibly important part of that American mission of bringing people in from the margins every generation so that we get stronger and stronger. Because of course what our forefathers understood is when you unleash the talent and energy of every single person, you don't just get stronger in the sense of human dignity and freedom, but you actually get stronger as an economy and you take off and we all thrive together. That's what this fusion of democracy, justice, and charity is all about. So I will close with those thoughts, but I will ask one additional question. My mom taught in my high school. She was a history teacher, and she always said to me that what kids needed to know more than anything else was that they had a grown-up in their corner. It's a good thing to think about, and I look around this room and I think, wow, look at these 900 plus grown-ups in the corner of our children. Thank you. But here's the other question. How are the adults? And I ask that not just because adults are our children's parents and our parents worry about them. A fourth grader asked me yesterday if the job of governor was stressful. I worried that he was worrying about me. But I ask the question because what kind of example are we setting for our children? They soak up what we do around them like a sponge absorbs water, right? We all know that. But they soak up the larger public debate and public context too. And I think about this a lot. How are the adults modeling for the kids in a time of extraordinary change? Are we ourselves trying to learn new things? Are we being as open-minded as we ask our children to be? Are we engaging debates frozen over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the same old ways while we ask them to become experts in the digital world that most of us will confess we don't really understand? Are we treating each other with the kind of mutual respect and, dare I say, love that being an American and a Granite Stater demands? Because at the end of the day, what our forefathers also understood and required of each and every one of us was to know that if we played by the American rule book, just followed the Constitution and participated in a citizen democracy that is unique in human history, that if we did that, we would be required also to treat each other with mutual respect and love, and know that we would find a way forward, not because we all liked each other, but because we all share this democracy of ours. So as we ask how the children are, which is a terrific and defining and appropriate focus, let's ask what we are demonstrating for our children too. Thank you. I'm so honored to be here with you.